Canto 12, Seventh Circle, the Violent, Descent of the Landslide, the Earthquake at Christ's Death, First Subcircle, the Violent against Others, the Centaurs, the River of Blood. The place where we came to descend the bank was mountainous, and, because of what else was there, such that every sight would shun it. Like that landslide which struck the flank of the Adige this side of Trento, because of an earthquake or the failing of support, where from the summit of the mountain whence they fell down to the plain, the rocks lie so strewn that they would provide a path for one who was above. Such was the descent into that valley, and at the very point where the slope had broken, the infamy of Crete was stretched out, the one conceived in the false cow. And when he saw us, he bit himself like one broken within by anger. My wise one shouted toward him, "Perhaps you believe the Duke of Athens is here, who put you to death up in the world. Away, beast, for this man does not come taught by your sister, but goes to see your punishment." Like a bull that wrenches free at the moment it has received the mortal blow, that is unable to walk but jumps up here and there, so I saw the Minotaur do. And that alert one cried, "Run to the crossing, it is good to go down while he is in his fit." So we took our way down along that scree, and the stones kept moving under my feet because of their new burden. I walked thoughtful, and he said, "You are thinking perhaps of this landslide guarded by that bestial anger I just now put out. Now I would have you know that the other time I came down here into lower hell, this cliff had not yet fallen. But certainly, if I remember well, a little before he came who took from Dis the great spoils of the highest circle, on every side this deep foul valley trembled so that I thought the universe must be feeling love, by which, some believe, the world has often been turned back into chaos. And at that point this ancient cliff here and elsewhere was broken down. But probe the valley with your sight, for we are approaching the river of blood, in which are boiling those who harm others with violence. O blind cupidity and mad rage that so spur us in this short life, and then in the eternal one cook us so evilly. I saw an ample, curving ditch that embraces the entire plain, according to what my guide had said, and between the foot of the cliff and it, centaurs were running in file, armed with arrows, as they used to go hunting in the world. Seeing us come down, each stopped, and from the file 3 came forth with bows and with arrows they had selected first. And one cried from afar, "To what punishment do you come, you who are climbing down the bank? Speak from there, otherwise I draw my bow." My master said, "The reply we make to Chiron, close over there. To your harm has your will always been so hasty." Then he nudged me and said, "That is Nessus, who died because of fair Deianira, and himself avenged himself." The one in the middle, who is gazing at his breast, is the great Chiron, who brought up Achilles. That other is Pholus, who was so full of anger. Around the ditch they go by thousands, shooting with arrows whatever soul emerges from the blood more than his guilt allots. We drew near those swift beasts. Chiron took an arrow, and with the notch he moved his beard back from his jaw. When he had uncovered his great mouth, he said to his companions, "Have you noticed that the one behind moves what he touches? The feet of the dead usually do not so." And my good leader, who already stood at his breast, where the 2 natures are wedded, replied, "He is indeed alive, and thus alone I must show him the dark valley. Necessity induces us, and not pleasure." One left off singing hallelujah, who entrusted me with this strange task. He is not a robber, nor I a thievish soul. But by that power through which I move my steps along so wild a road, give us one of yours to guide us, and show us where the ford is, and carry this one on his rump, for he is not a spirit that can walk upon the air. Chiron turned on his right breast and said to Nessus, "Go back and guide them, and if you meet another company, make them give way." Now we go with our trusty escort along the bank of the red boiling, where the boiled ones were uttering high shrieks. I saw people immersed as far as the brow, and the great centaur said, "They are tyrants who put their hands to blood and to others' goods. There they weep for their pitiless crimes. There is Alexander and fierce Dionysius, who gave Sicily such grievous years." And that forehead with such black hair is Azzolino, and that other blonde one is Obizzo de Este, who truly was murdered by his bastard up in the world. Then I turned to my poet, and he said, "Let him now be first for you, and I second." A little further along, the centaur stopped above people who seemed to emerge from the boiling stream as far as the throat. He pointed to a soul by itself to one side, saying, "That one cleft in the bosom of God, the heart that still drips blood along the Thames." Then I saw people who held their heads out of the river, and then all of their trunks, and of them I recognized many. Thus the blood became shallower and shallower, until it was cooking only feet, and there was our passing of the ditch. "Just as on this side you see the boiling stream diminish," said the centaur, "I would have you believe that on this other side it lowers its bed deeper and deeper, until it reaches the depth where tyranny must moan. Over there God's justice pierces that Attila who was a scourge on earth, and Pyrrhus and Sextus, and for eternity milks the tears unlocked by the boiling from Renier da Corneto and Renier Pazzo, who waged such war on the roads." Then he turned and passed back over the ford.